I have some questions about this, so I would like to ask that.
Yeah.
So, after the treatment, what do you think? What are the various options available for the treated reuse water and context of India, and how people are accepting it?
Yeah. So acceptance actually not been that big a issue. So in a residential context, uh, flushing is a very common reuse, and there are now thousands of buildings who are using the treated wastewater for flushing. They are using it for gardening and landscaping, and there's actually pretty much zero concern as long as the system is well run. About it because it's actually pretty safe. So that's one big area of reuse. Uh, Outside of the user's environment, okay, there's a very old case, actually, the interesting story. There's a big refinery or a big factory in Bombay that offered, this is 25 years ago, they told the Bombay municipal that can you give us your sewage? We will treat it and we will use it for our industrial process. Anyway, you're just letting it go into the sea. The Bombay Municipal Corporation give that sewage to the company because they said if you get that sewage, you stop buying fresh water from us, and that's where we make the money because we subsidize water to a residential. So if everyone just starts taking dirty water, treating it, and using it, we lose water revenue. And so they actually refused at that time to give sewage to that industry. Where cities have gotten into agreements. Udaipur is doing that. Pune is doing it. Many cities are doing that, where where bulk buyers, industry, road construction, real estate developers, municipality can use their water because they often use a lot of water for watering their parks and for lake region. So these are some of the areas where you can reuse treated water very easily. There is an issue of standards. See, if I'm going to go out and buy water from somebody, treated water, I need to be sure quality standard. Every time for every truckload of water, you can't do a water test. So therefore, the whole regulatory regime of making sure that treatment plants are tested, licensed, properly operated. My vision is that you can almost have like a commodity market for water. Like when you look at wheat, you don't have to say I want wheat which is 1 centimeter long and light gray, and they have a grade, right? And that grade means something for this kind of wheat, and A7342 means something else, right?
Right.
Imagine if each STP in a city, you could have 20,000 STPs in a city, produces a certain grade of water, and that has a code. And I, as a buyer, can say, okay, I'm a constructor, I need 300 trucks of water every day, and I can buy your quality standard. I can buy 50 from that building, but that's the surplus they have, and I can buy 80 from there. And because the quality standards are defined, it doesn't it's very easy for me to do that each truckload,
Right.
and that's a big problem today that the quality is not consistent. So that's what you can do with treated
Yeah.
water, wastewater.
And so, according to your experience, what are the major, takeaways, your experience? What is it saying implementing this system in urban areas and versus rural areas? What is your experience saying?
See, I think rural areas don't really, because you don't have that density. So you have got two things in rural areas, right? You don't have the same density. I mean, there are some villages which are almost like cities, so I'm not counting those. But by and large, density of population, uh, where you can afford pipes and treatment plants and all, right? Second thing is that your wastewater, see, nature throw at it. It's just that when you put too much wastewater at one point, then you have a problem. But if you have the same wastewater spread over a large area, it's not a problem. So unless your water table is very high, where your septic tank may soak into the water and then you draw the water out of the well and that gets polluted. Actually, often in rural areas there is no problem. This is we have a very simple like the Ladakh technology, very inexpensive, very easy to maintain. You can build those kind of plants to clean out the septic tanks, and dry toilets are a great option if people are really want to use it. In urban areas, our experience has been that Look, people don't want to spend money on this. We will spend money on dinner, on mobile, low income household, right? But they will not necessarily spend their money on a toilet. Or they'll complain about if you have to charge 20 rupees a month to collect solid waste, they will cry and complain and call the corporator for chips and this and that and using it. I'm talking about like really low income household in slums also. Part of it is a habit thing, and part of it is you just say, look, this is the cost of living in a city. Have cities where you can just do what you want, you shit anywhere, do whatever and there have to be certain rules, and this is important from a public health perspective. And the thing is to make sure it is affordable. And what I mean is that it is affordable. It is not onerous on anyone, government or private party. It's not like people will not have money left for food because they invest in sewage treatment, right? It's very small cost. Set a habit. There needs to be more accountability from a political system. Municipalities today, whatever we want to say, they are overworked. They have transfer problems. People get transfers. There is a lot of, of course, corruption and other issues in there also. We have to acknowledge that. But they do have genuine problems. They have genuine limitations. And so the system needs to be updated. Political will has to be there. Investment has to be there. And like I said, you can't do sanitation. Suddenly you can't stand up today and say, I want to do this today. Tomorrow I wake up and say, now let's do that. No, it has to be planned. And generally, we are not good at planning. Because we have short election cycles or short attention span, or everybody wants to show that it's my idea. So if I come, I will say shut all her projects down, do what I want to do. That's really childishness, right? And it's really immature, and we end up wasting a lot of money with that kind of attitude. So long-term planning, board, they must demand accountability from local government. So it comes down to basics of good governance, good citizenship, being aware, being involved, and demanding results, accountable for the job they're supposed to do, whether it's a private party or government. Whoever is supposed to do something must be held accountable, and that's the kind of culture that we need.
Yes, sir.
That's my experience.
Definitely. So at the end, if you like to give any message to urban enthusiasts who really wants to work in this field, so any message you would like?
Yeah, look, I think urban planning is one of the important jobs in India for the next 50 years, because our urbanization is going to be defined by the kind of planning we do, infrastructure, and planners have a very important role to play in this. But to play that role well, planners need to understand the system holistically. You can't break down something complex like as a water expert, I'm a this expert. No, you need to have a general understanding of how the different pieces interact, how they intersect. It requires technical knowledge. You have to be willing to listen. You have to talk to people, understand what their issues are. It's not about saying every city must look the same. We must understand what people want, what are their problems, what are their aspirations, as doing today on slums. And there is no one size fit all slum redevelopment policy. We need to understand what do people want there and then customize the solution. That is much harder. It takes a lot more work, but that is what will endure. That is what will work in the long term. And therefore, as urban planners, visit other countries, see what has worked, but understand how to realities. And Indian realities is very varied. Right? If you're working in Bombay versus a Udaipur versus a Leh, very different. You can't have a urban planner and Delhi coming to Leh, spending 2 months over there, designing a full sewage treatment system, the whole STP system, writing their DPR and saying, okay, government now trust on hand. And that's what we tend to have because we don't localize, we don't spend enough time understanding and planning and spending on planning. I think planners must demand that government pay planning and good engineering. If you're going to spend $100 on a system, but you only want to spend $1 on the planning, that's stupidity. Because if it fails, because you don't want to spend five, instead of spending 5% on design and engineering, to save that $4 of upfront cost, you're putting $100 of investment at risk. Not to mention the headache and the other problems that come with it, right?
Right.
So we need a whole different mindset as we think about urbanization at every level of planning, execution, accountability, relationship building, private and public sector. So So it's not easy, but yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of energy, a lot of social enterprises, a lot of young people, a lot of government officers, younger government officers, younger political leaders. We see great stories of municipal corporators, who say, no, I want this for my locality, right? And they sort of the businesses say, no, we want a better system, and they fight for it, right? So that's the kind of political leadership we need, administrative leadership, thought leadership, and private sector leadership. People in the center of the problem and say, how do we make life better for people? And I think if we focus on that question, how do we make life better? How do we make our cities happier and healthier? I think we'll find solutions.
Right, definitely. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge to all of us. It's an honor to have you on this platform. I hope the people who are listening are motivated and will do something and something for their environment and for their water. So, also, I would like each and everyone who is listening to this platform right now. So, to stay updated to this initiative, please like us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And to join our initiative, you can fill out the form, which is given in the link below. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Stay happy, stay healthy.
And, and I'd just like to close by saying good luck. I think what you're doing is wonderful. I think there's a lot of knowledge sharing that is required. Panel discussions don't do justice to knowledge. So it's great that you invite share different aspects of their work. So good luck with it. Keep going. Keep doing that. I think we all need a lot of sharing ideas in education because we're up against challenges that we've not dealt with before. So thank you for inviting me. All right. Good luck.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care.